This is Mike Acker's portrait of Spain Street. Sonoma began here at Mission San Francisco Solano, known simply as Mission Solano. It was founded in 1823 and closed just 11 years later. Its closure gave birth to our pueblo. It was Mariano Vallejo's job to do both, close the mission and establish a pueblo. When he drew Sonoma's original map in the 1830s, he named this street after himself. Later, it became Spain Street. Mike Acker's photo montage of life here draws inspiration from a Native American memorial, an 1880s insurance map, ghostly street scenes, and people who lived around the Sonoma Plaza. The baptized names on this memorial remember hundreds of Coast Miwok, Pomo, Wapo, and other men, women, and children buried in unmarked graves near here. Children's names have an asterisk. This family descended from the mission ancestors. Some of their descendants still live here. Wine became one of Sonoma's first industries. That is, grape growing, winemaking, and wine drinking. Vallejo's wines won awards. Mission Solano became the old Sonoma winery. Here is Poppy's Winery and Wine Cellar on 1st Street West. The cooperage made wine barrels. In the 1880s, you could get a fine drink at the Ticino Hotel, now known as the Swiss Hotel, or the Toscano Hotel, which looks like it did 100 years ago. Jack Walton, the Toscano's bartender, was known to make excellent old-fashioned cocktails in the 1930s. SVRR stands for Sonoma Valley Railroad. That's how wine was sent to market. There was a railroad roundhouse and depot on the plaza in the 1880s. The depot moved. Now it's the Sonoma Valley Historical Society Museum at Depot Park, a couple of blocks from the plaza. Acker the artist depicts the Mexican-era soldiers' barracks, but with the fake Victorian front that Solomon Schocken added. Sonoma's pioneer Jewish businessman, Solomon Schocken, was remarkable. Stones cut from his quarry paved San Francisco streets. He opened a saloon in front of his bowling alley, across from the mission, and he supported Sonoma's newly forming Women's Club, which beautified the plaza, lobbied for a library, and other early 20th century civic concerns. Maya Angelou and her husband moved to Sonoma around 1973. Not long after, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings made her famous. Like other people, they were drawn here by food, wine, and the lifestyle, but racist remarks made them feel unwelcome, so they moved. Meet Mariano Vallejo and his younger brother, Salvador. In the 1840s, their walled homes stretched from just this side of the Toscano Hotel to the corner. Mariano's Casa Grande was the largest home in this part of Alta California. It burned in a mysterious 1867 fire, leaving only a servant quarters and a largely empty space. Samuele Sebastiani demolished Salvador's historic home in the 1930s to build a modern apartment, shops, and a bus depot, now a candle store. Next to Salvador is Doña Francisca Benicia Carrillo de Vallejo, lovingly called Doña Benicia, Mariano's wife. You met her and Salvador on 1st Street West. Here is Vicente Carrillo at 107 years old in 1895. He survived the mission experience and smallpox epidemic of 1838. Mary Fazio, pioneer businesswoman, started Mary's Pizza Shack in nearby Boys Hot Springs in 1959. Now Mary's is in several North Bay communities. Where Mary's is today was a blacksmith and wagon shop back in the 1880s. Next to Mary is Doña Maria Ignacio Lopez de Carrillo, Salvador's wife and Doña Benicia's sister. The Vallejo brothers married sisters from San Diego. Doc Marioni was a much-loved veterinarian and member of the family that owned and operated the Swiss Hotel since 1923. The bar is locally famous for a house drink called a Galerafi, named by Ernest Hemingway's brother, John. Meet John Grider. Some say he was involved in the Bear Flag Revolt that liberated California from Mexico in 1846. Others say that's not true. Here were Chinese businesses, part of the plaza's Chinese neighborhood, which grew in the 1870s after they finished building the Transcontinental Railroad. Nearly a quarter of the people who lived in Sonoma were Chinese, until the Exclusion Act forced them out. Spain Street is one of the most historic in all of California.